First normal form and second normal form. Next one, third normal form. Right, so 3 enough. And the last one we can call as the Boy's chord. Boy's and chord. These are the two scientists they invented chord normal form. You can also call it as a BCNF. Boy's chord normal form. These are the 4 normal forms. So whenever you want to organize the data in a database, first we have to do the first normal form, then the second normal form, and third normal form, finally the Boy's chord normal form. Whenever data in a database is in a Boy's chord normal form, then we can say that data is well organized and it doesn't have any problems with anomalies. So it means that any database, if you want to create, then first you have to follow these 4 normal forms. First normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and BCNF normal form. Without passing the first normal form, you can't do the second, and without second, you can't do the third, and without third, you cannot go to the Boy's chord. So this you have to follow the step-by-step compulsory. So let us see what is the first normal form, what will be, we can do modification in the database in the first normal form. Okay. I can call it as a 1NF, called the first normal form. So as per the rule of the first normal form, what the rule the first normal form means, an attribute of a table cannot have multiple values. What exactly the first normal form will tell you is a table cannot contains duplicate values or contains multiple values. Multiple values. An attribute in a table. An attribute in a table. So it means that an attribute in a table cannot contain the multiple values. It should hold only the atomic values. It should hold atomic values. Atomic values means not more than one value. Not more than one value. See, I will take one example of the table here, that is EMP ID, EMP name, EMP address, EMP mobile. So this is the table that I am thinking, that one of the table which contains 4 attributes: EMP ID, EMP name, EMP address, and mobile. So let us see that the data is 101, 102, 103, and 104. These are the employees' IDs. So name, maybe they have the different names, like there is no same name. BB. So see here, CC, DD. In the same way, the addresses are also different. For example, Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Medchal. So these are different addresses. Suppose I have given different addresses. We come to the point of the mobile numbers. We have some example. There is one mobile number. and this guy have one mobile number, and this guy have a mobile number, like, and also this guy have another mobile number. Yeah. For example, E for the same series, for example, 343353 like that. So this guy have two numbers. The same way, the next guy also have two numbers. Okay. When you this table, see this table, what you can understand that there is 4 attributes in the table and 3 attributes have the atomic values, means the different values. And 1 attribute have the 2 values, EMP mobile. So whenever you see the EMP mobile attribute, it contains sometimes 2 values in an attribute. Means the 2 mobile numbers for a person. So here 103 have 2 mobile numbers and 104 also have 2 mobile numbers. This will not allow in the first normal form. So first normal form, what you have to see is you have to remove these multiple values which are occurring here. So that you should have to take care. So this is the first normal. So what is the first normal form? Exactly tells us whenever a table contains a attribute in a table, a attribute in a table contains more than one value for a person, it cannot be allowed. You should have to remove first of all. Whenever you remove that one, then you can say it is in first normal form. Then for that, what you have to do is here to make the table with the first normal form, you should have to shade like this. How do you have to see this one means? I can do like this. How this? Let us see. This is one data. Okay. So if I want to make it correct, what I have to do? I have to write like this. 103 again. CC again. This is the made shell. The same way. 104 again. 104 again. DD same name. T the same place and the phone numbers. Now when you see this table, what you can understand clearly is every table has atomic value. Sorry, every attribute has atomic values. So this is called this. Now we can say that this table is in the first normal form. What does we did means what we had did is we had added the attribute value which is repeated as a separate record. So 103 has 2 mobile numbers. I have treated as a 2 records. 104 has 2 mobile numbers. That I have to do 2 records. When you see now what we can understand, every attribute has an atomic value. So no attribute have 2 values here. Now I can say this is, I can say this table is in 1NF, first normal form. So this is the first normal form. What is the concept of the first normal form means? An attribute in a table must contain atomic value. It does not contain multiple values. Whenever you take the example first, what I did is I have used the multiple values for 103. Phone numbers, I have used 2 phone numbers. For 104 also I use 2 phone numbers. which is not a correct way to represent the first normal form. So for that, what I had did is I had separated those records. So 103 become 2 times and 104 records would become 2 times. By do that, I can make it is a first normal form. We hope you understand clearly about the first normal form. Now we'll move to the second normal form. What second normal form code? A table is said to be in second normal form. For that, first you have to satisfy the first normal. It should satisfy the 1NF. So what 1NF told? It contains atomic. Every attribute in a table must contain atomic values. Yes, right. We have already normalized it. It is okay. Now the second condition is no non-prime attribute is depend on the proper subset of any candidate key in the table. So no non-prime attribute, no non-prime attribute is dependent on the subset of proper subset of any any candidate key in a table. Proper subset of any key in the table. So if these two conditions has been satisfied, then we can say the table is in the second normal form. So let us see an example. So here the teacher ID, subject. I will go slowly because this is an important topic, which is important point of view, means you will definitely get an examination. Teacher age. So these are the three attributes. These are the three attributes that are in a table. Okay. So here the data will be like this. One is 111, 111, 222, 333, 333. So teacher IDs are like here. She teaches maths. She is also teaches physics. Can it possible? Yes, possible, because a teacher can teach two subjects also. Biology. Again, she will teach us physics. And she can also teach chemistry. So now they come to the third point. Her age is 38. So here also the same age, because same teacher teaching now. Here the age is 38. Let us see. Her age is also 38. Now this girl age is 40. So here we have three attributes. We have three teacher IDs and they are teaching different subjects with the same age. So when you see this, which is the candidate key? We already told that the candidate key is the key which we can use. It is one of the primary key. So let us see, when you see this example, I can understand clearly that teacher ID and subject. We can, both of them, we can take it as a candidate keys. Candidate keys from the above table. So what is the non-prime attribute? What is the non-prime attribute here? Here the non-prime attribute is teacher age. It means that What is the non-prime attribute means here? Which does not required in the table. Moreover, it does not, the remaining data cannot depend upon the teacher age here. So teacher ID subject is enough, but I don't want the teacher age. What is the necessity of getting the teacher age here? No time, it is not required now. So what I have to do here is I have to keep away the teacher ID from the table. Teacher age. So how can you do that? For that, what you have to do is you have to divide the table into two parts. The same table into two parts. How do you divide? First table is teacher ID and teacher age. Teacher age. This is one table. Teacher ID and teacher age is one table. That we can call it as a teacher details. You can call it as a teacher details. I will call it as a teacher. The second thing, I will take it as a teacher ID and also the teacher name, subject. So this two I will make it as one table. So I can call it as a teacher subject table. So what here I'm doing is to remove the dependency of a non-prime attribute. What is a non-prime attribute? Teacher age. Teacher age, I don't want to repeat depend upon the teacher age. It's unnecessary to me. That's why what I'm doing, I have to remove the non-prime content here. So that's why what I'm doing is I'm dividing the table into two parts in the second normal form. So what here I'm doing, I'm dividing teacher ID and teacher age is one table as a one table, and teacher ID and subject is another table. Now, when you see here, you can understand clearly that I don't have necessary participation of teacher details in my further programs, because I have my data myself, that the teacher ID and her subject. This is enough for me. So, but what I have to do, I have already the data here. So that's why what I'm doing here, I am separating the data into different tables. Because of that, I may not use this table. I may not use this table, but I can able to use this table. This is the advantage of second normal form. So means that whenever you want to make a table into the second normal form, first the table has to be in the first normal form. What the first normal form will tell, it does not contain multiple values. Any attribute in the table does not contain multiple attributes. Yes, we don't have any multiple values. Now the second condition is, whenever you see the table, is there any attribute that is depend upon the primary values? Yes, one attribute is that is the teacher age. But it should not require to us. That's why what I am doing is I am dividing the entire three attribute table into the two tables. That is teacher details and teacher subject details. Now, I never use a teacher age in my further programs. If it is required, I will use, but if not required, definitely required. So now you can easily say that the teacher age is not depend on that subject, because I separated both of them. So this is the advantage of the second normal form. Hope understand clearly. When the table is in the first normal form, it does not have the multiple values. When the table is the second normal form, it should be in the first normal form. It means that it does not contain the multiple values. And also, any attribute does not depend upon the primary attributes. So here the teacher is, which is not a primary. Primary means you should not treat it as a important one. That is depending on the subject or teacher ID. So, but that's why what I am doing is I am trying to remove the dependency here. So by what way you can remove the dependency means by dividing the table attributes into number of tables. So here when you see this, it does not require to me to use the teacher is in all the time, but it may be required to use the subject in all the times. That's why I separate the tables. Okay, hope understand clearly. When come to the third one, the third normal form, 3NF. So what the 3NF will do is, if you want to satisfy the 3NF, then it should be in 2NF. So it means in time it should be in the 1NF. Okay. So next one, transitive functional dependency means a transitive functional dependency of non-prime attribute on any super key. This is the property that you have to remember. So let's see an example, you can understand clearly. The example is EMP ID. EMP zip. So means zip means pin code. EMP state. EMP city. EMP district. So let's see here. What we can understand is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attributes in my table that represents the employee details. So here, whenever you take some data, there is a possibility that we see here, forget about the data here. Let's see what are the super keys here. That may be the employee ID, can be the employee ID with a super key, or the employee ID together employee name. You can sometimes you can use both of together. That is a possibility is there. And employee ID, EMP name, and EMP zip. Together also you can possibility is there. So these three can be possibilities for a super case. Alone employee ID together with the employee name, and employee ID together with the employee ID and zip. But what is the candidate key here? So candidate key is nothing but the common key here. What is the common key here we have is employee ID. Here the candidate key is EMP ID. Because the employee name may be repeated, the employee PIN code may be repeated, but employee ID never repeated. So then come to the point, what are the non-key, non-prime attribute? Non-prime attribute. Is a non-prime attribute here is all attribute except employee ID, except employee ID, except employee ID, EMP ID. Every attribute is non-prime. So means that there is no necessity of remaining all the attributes that depend upon the employee ID attributes. So this is the concept. So means how can we convert this into the third normal form? That we'll discuss now. What we have to do first is we have to convert a table into employee table, which contains the column EMP ID, EMP name, and also EMP zip. The first convert, I will change the table into the 3 attribute table with employee ID, employee name, and employee zip. Next, I will change the table name, second table as employee zip table. Employee zip table. What is the content here? Employee zip, employee state, employee city, employee district. So second, here I am using the second table. So I have divided the table into 2 parts. One is employee ID, employee name, and zip, one table. Next, employee zip, employee state, employee city, and employee is one table. So now you can say that this is clear of non-dependency. So why sir means we already say that employee ID, employee name, and employee zip code can be the super keys. So what I did here is whatever the super key that I have created as a one table, and along with the super key, I created another table. So now I can easily say that employee zip, employee state, employee city, employee district, these 4 will never depend upon the employee ID or employee. So now I can say this is in the third normal form. So see here, when you want to say the table is in the third normal form, that should be in the first normal form. It means that it must contain the values which are a what is called distinct values. It means the atomic values that will be satisfied. And as per the second normal form, there is no the dependency of non-prime attributes that is also satisfied. These 3. Moreover, third one, the functional dependency means whenever you change something on the employee ID or employee name, that never affect on the employee state or the employee city. This is the concept. So this is about the third normal form. So today we discussed about the first normal form, the second normal form, and third normal form also. We have the rest is the BCNF, that is a boys code normal form that we'll discuss on tomorrow. Okay. So you have to remember clearly that normalization, what is normalization? Normalization is nothing but to represent the data, to organize the data in a particular manner. So which can be accessible to everybody. So that's why we have to normalize the data into different levels. First, we have to use the first normal form. Then you have to go to the second normal form. And then you can go to the third normal form. Finally, you have to go to the fourth normal form. When the when a table has to be in the second normal form, it should be in the first normal form. When the table should be in the, when this table has to be in the third normal form, it should be in the second normal form. So the stages has to be finished first of all. So this is the concept of the normalization. We have only one topic behind this is the BCNF. This is the most important question in the examination point of view. Define the normalization and its types. You have to use the multiple examples. Otherwise, you can use the example which I have represented the same also. Moreover, I will send the notes to you also. Don't get worried. You go to the notes and use the same table and same data also. Okay.